I'm Daniel Norris. I'm with Roje Consulting. I'm the Senior Environmental Project Manager for the Oakland Army Base and a registered environmental manager. My responsibilities are to manage the import of the necessary fill for surcharge and site elevation, representing around 800,000 cubic yards, and the management of the risk management plan, which is the governing document for the reuse of this brownfield site. As an example of what I do is the RMP 158 installation of the sanitary and storm sewers through this area. It involved the development of a work plan that allowed us to excavate through this area with all the safeties required to both investigate this contaminated area and deal with the spoils from the excavation. It was a plan developed with Northgate Environmental, City and Port consultants, along with DTSC, in an extensive process that just recently culminated with the completion of the second cut for the storm drain. So within the work plan, there were 3 separate layers of material we had to deal with. The top layer is called the overburden, and that was the general fill that was placed to elevate the site for the Army base originally. The next layer is a material that's been in contact with the contaminated material, and that was a mixed material, and that was excavated into a separate truck to be dealt with for disposal. And then the third layer is the source layer, which was the black naphthalene smelling tarry material, and that also went into a separate truck for analysis and disposal. The entire excavation is currently stored in North Gateway. The testing will happen next week. The results will come back about 2 weeks after that, and then we can determine what type of landfill the mixed and the source material will go to, and whether we can use the overburden back on the site. One of the requirements of the site is that soil that is excavated and passes the reuse criteria for the site must be reused on site. So there's a protocol that we go through to analyze dirt as it's being excavated to determine whether it needs to be tested for reuse or can just go immediately to reuse, and that's in the risk management plan that was developed in 2002. You can see the 60-inch sections that were stacked up at the beginning, and those get lifted in. Part of the work plan is to segregate the contaminated soil from the soil that will be placed on top, which will be a clean fill, creating a clean corridor. So what you see here is the orange fence is the indicator of the contaminated area. The black is the burrito wrapping that happens on all the pipes around here, and then you can see them placing the stone, the ballast rock, and the recycled aggregate that was made from parts of the Army base being reused here to support the 60-inch storm drain. What you just saw was the successful conclusion of the excavation phase of this body of work. Still remaining is the testing of the spoils for either reuse in the case of the overburden or proper disposal for the case of the mixed and the source material to an appropriate landfill. At that point, we will then write a closure report on this entire RMP 158 and submit that for approval by DTSC, and that then will close out this section of the Army base environmental work.